Shawn splits his time between two of his three residences. He rents out his condo in Newport Beach, California, and splits time between his home in Yorba Linda, California, and his townhouse in Las Vegas, Nevada, while training for the Mr. Olympia. He gave us a small guided tour of his crash pad, as he calls it, where he retreats from family and friends to focus on his training for the big show.
Hey, and welcome to Las Vegas. This is my townhouse. When I come out to Las Vegas, this is where I stay. It's just a small little 2-bedroom. Come out here to relax. It's really like training camp. You know, like the fighters getting ready for the big fights. This is where I come, and I'll give you a little tour of the little condo. This is my little family room area right here, where I kick back, I watch the Olympia tapes and battle for the Olympia. My little sun and the moon. Nice little marriage there between those two. Come on back here, I'll show you my rooms. Kitchen where all the cooking takes place. Nothing special. Little guest bathroom. Vegas is very cheap and very affordable. Here's the guest room. Got a lot of bodybuilders moving out here to Las Vegas. Picked this up right after last year's Olympia, only $114,000. You know, it's 1,200 square feet. Here's my room back here. So, you know, $114,000. It's pretty affordable. And my mortgage is only $600 a month, so it's a great little tax write-off as well, and a nice little entertainment spot for after the Mr. Olympia. A little bathroom, you know. That's it. It's pretty simple. Like I said, I got 12 more weeks to go for the competition. I got Shawn Ray playing because I went to her concert last night. Anyways, like I said, I got about 12 more weeks to go for the competition, so when I come out here, I usually come by myself and try to hook up with my other bodybuilding buddies to prepare for the contest. Go to the gym at 7 in the morning and train, get about an hour of sun in the afternoon, come back, eat, sleep, and I go back to the gym at about 6, 7 o'clock at night. And the only recreational stuff I do when I'm here in Las Vegas is I probably go to the movies, or I might go to one of the local steakhouses. But I know that Craig Titus is moving here. I know Paul Dillette is already living here. Dorian Yates is also looking around for a little secondary home. Great gyms out here, great food, it's cheap, it's affordable, there's a lot of entertainment, and there's also a lot of stuff you can get caught up in out here, and you guys know what I'm talking about. You get out here and spend too much time in the streets, but that's not what the purpose for me being in Las Vegas. I come here to eat, sleep, and train, and get ready for the big fight, much like a lot of fighters do. So this is it, okay? Thanks for hanging out with me.
You're a successful businessman, Shawn. You're one of the few bodybuilders, I can't think of another one really, who's made a fortune doing this. How did that happen?
Well, it costs a fortune to do this as well. There's its positives and its negatives. I mean, I'm lucky in a regard that there's a certain marketability about me that I didn't really have to hone in on. I mean, there's a certain look that I have that isn't really offensive. There's a certain articulation that I've got that reflects my background and my education. And there's also a certain likability that I have because I'm a social person. I like to talk to people and I like to tell my story. And I started out in studying social psychology at Cal State Fullerton. I wanted to be a juvenile delinquency counselor. So I was already helping people find their way through my own success by telling them my story of coming in from a family of 8, being the youngest, having to fight for food. You know, everything was always a competition in my house. And through that, it made me competitive athletically, and becoming successful athletically, I was able to share and convey these stories with other people to help motivate them as well.
But you saved your money. There are a few bodybuilders who have actually saved $1. I mean, we know who we're talking about. Fast cars, fast times. It seems to come and go, but you have a plan. I mean, you've gotten that done.
I found a way to hang on to a few of the nickels and dimes. I love fast cars. Mm-hmm. I love fast women, I like fast food. I mean, there's certain excesses in sport when you make a lot of money real quick that you're gonna have to self-indulge. Of course, I'm a different bodybuilder at 35 than I was at 25. I have managed to buy a townhouse in Las Vegas, a condo in Newport Beach, and a house out in Yorba Linda, California. And I've had every car under the sun, from a Lamborghini to a Ferrari Testarossa, Corvette, Porsche, Lotus Esprit, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Tahoes, Expeditions. I mean, you name it, I've had these cars, like Flex Wheeler and Ronnie Coleman. We've all had our little indulgences, but I also realize that when it's all said and done, I want a roof over my head and I want a nice place that I can call home. And that's really what people work almost 30 years of their lives to hopefully one day pay off and retire and live comfortably. I came along in this sport right in the boom, which was in the late mid-'80s, where money started coming in. And I luckily had the insight while I was in college to have a couple of business courses that I studied. But I've always looked at myself as a product. Sure, I looked at myself as a professional bodybuilder who's competing, but at the end of the day, I'm a product and I have to sell it. So going after anything that related to bodybuilding was my mission. A lot of my friends wanted me to get into acting and all that stuff, but I was a product that could sell myself in terms of getting into the magazines. They told me I was very photogenic, so I played into that. I called the photographers to take my pictures. When I was in shape, I said, hey, listen, let's do this photo shoot. I was an eager, young, ambitious bodybuilder who wanted everything. And the fallout was that I wound up with like 5 different companies sponsoring me. So those are 5 monthly checks coming in. I wound up booking my own tours around the world, not just around the country, but globally. I wound up coming up with posters, creating videos, creating bandanas, and representing my companies like Flex Equipment Company and Saranac gloves. They got a special Shawn Ray glove called the Muscle Blast glove, designed specifically for me. I got in touch with some clothing lines like Pro Fitness USA and Max Muscle. There's and of course Powerhouse Gym. I represent Powerhouse Gym, like 250, 400 Powerhouse gyms around the world that I make appearances at, representing the company Powerhouse Gym, because that's the choice, that's the gyms that I choose to train at. And in return, I do the grand openings and seminars to help these members find their way through this industry of bodybuilding and fitness. So the nickels and dimes I've achieved and accomplished around the world over the years have added up. And the main thing I've always wanted not to be was that guy that said, where did it all go and why did it go so fast? I think a lot of that was instilled from my mom and my dad. My dad, who's a penny pincher, always kind of told me to watch my nickels and dimes. My mom, who's an accountant, always made sure that I watched my nickels and dimes. And she's the first one to tell me that I'm cheap while she walks out and gets in the Lamborghini or the Mercedes or the Corvette. Now, these are things that I never thought attainable from lifting weights. But you have to remember, there's more to bodybuilding than lifting weights. All these material things that I have can be taken away from me. The one thing I don't ever want to be without is my home. I work very hard on establishing my home and building up a lot of equity so that if I did get hurt or injured, I would always have a roof over my head. But the material things that I've always liked, like the fast cars, that stuff doesn't come cheap. And it does take a lot of maneuvering financially to make sure that after you pay your taxes, you're able to make your car payment. And luckily, having a CPA for a mother and a lawyer as a sister, I was able to watch and learn and manage my money very well and be happy doing it.